The string lights above the garden glowed softly, casting a golden hue on the smiling faces gathered for my engagement party. It was supposed to be one of the happiest nights of my life, a celebration of love, of new beginnings. I stood beside Emma, my fiancée, our hands intertwined, her diamond ring catching the light just enough to sparkle but not blind. Laughter echoed, champagne glasses clinked, and for once, I felt at peace. That lasted until my father stood up and cleared his throat. The chatter faded. Every eye turned to him. My mother's narrowed in suspicion, my brother's already avoiding contact. Something shifted in the air, subtle but chilling. "I want to say something," my father said, his voice too sharp for the occasion. "Something important." I felt Emma tense beside me. I squeezed her hand gently, signaling everything would be fine. "I was wrong. You all know," he continued, "that my son here," he gestured toward me, "has a $150,000 trust fund his mother and I set up for him when he was a child. Money for a house, a future, for building a life." He looked around, measuring the silence. "Well," he said, "his brother Brian isn't as fortunate. He's struggling. He made mistakes. But he's still family. And family helps family." A few guests shifted uncomfortably. My pulse quickened. "So," he said, lifting his chin, "I'm asking you, no telling you, to give your $150,000 to your brother. He needs it more. Otherwise this engagement," he pointed to Emma and then to me, "is over." The words hit like a thunderclap. At first, I thought I misunderstood. I looked at Emma, then at my father, searching for some sign of a joke. But there was none. Just cold determination in his eyes. I laughed, softly, nervously. "You're kidding, right?" He didn't flinch. "No, I'm not. You're the stable one. You've always had your head on straight. Brian's in trouble, he needs help." Emma's grip on my hand grew tighter. "This isn't the time or place," I said through clenched teeth, my voice low, trying to contain the rising storm. "This is exactly the time," my father shot back. "You're starting a life with this woman. That money is a cushion you don't even need. Your brother could lose everything. He's drowning. What kind of man stands by and watches his own brother sink?" The betrayal wasn't in the request. It was in the threat. The ultimatum. Give up what was mine, what I had waited years to access, or lose Emma. But Emma didn't blink. She turned to my father, her voice clear and unwavering. "This isn't your decision." He ignored her. "Brian is family. She's not even your wife yet." That's when I saw it. Not just the control, but the entitlement. My father wasn't asking for generosity. He was demanding obedience. All my life, I had been the good son. The responsible one. The one who didn't crash the car, didn't flunk out, didn't get arrested, didn't gamble away his savings. Brian did all that. And more. And every time, my parents bailed him out. Covered his debt. Blamed his friends. The world. Never him. But this time? This time they wanted me to foot the bill. "No," I said, finally, my voice steady. "I'm not giving him the fund." The silence that followed was deafening. My father's face turned red. His fists clenched at his sides. My mother's eyes brimmed with tears, but not the sad kind. The angry kind. The disappointed kind. My father stepped forward. "Then you're not the man I thought you were." I felt my chest tighten. The weight of years of suppressed rebellion pressing to the surface. "No," I said, my voice shaking now. "I'm just not the puppet you raised." The party didn't end with a bang. It ended with a fizzle. A wave of awkward goodbyes, concerned glances, and hurried exits. My father stormed out. My mother didn't say a word to me as she followed him. Brian never looked up from his drink. Emma and I stood alone under the lights that now seemed far too bright. "I'm sorry," I said to her. "Don't be," she whispered. "You stood up for yourself. For us." But that night, in the quiet that followed, the weight of it settled in. I had always known my family was fractured, but I hadn't expected them to hold a knife to my future and call it love. The fallout came fast. Calls ignored. Family group chat went silent. My father emailed me a week later to say I was cut off. As if I hadn't already been cut to pieces at my own engagement party. They gave Brian the money anyway. Sold a property they were holding as retirement backup. 3 months later, he was back in debt. Again. Emma and I paid for our wedding ourselves. Small. Simple. Beautiful. I used the trust fund to put a down payment on our home. A modest one. We didn't want extravagance. We wanted peace. The rest I invested carefully. We built a life. Not with anyone's approval, but with integrity. Years later, when Emma and I had our first child, I thought about calling them. I didn't. Some betrayals heal. Some don't. And some teach you that family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up when it matters. They tried to shame me into giving up my future to fix someone else's past. I said no. And I've never regretted it.